which is a great thing. Checks and balances in the American system. So legislative branch, which is basically the SEC, executive branch, judicial, and legislative. So excited there. So I think Vanguard, and you mentioned someone else. Who was that?
Merrill Lynch.
Oh, I think, yes. I think Merrill is beginning to understand that Vanguard has made a mistake, because Merrill has actually said, no, we aren't banning it. We're evaluating it. And Merrill's very conservative. And Merrill was the last platform to approve our strategies, our ETF strategies. But once they do approve, they're a powerhouse. So they're very careful. So I think this is a massive mistake, strategic mistake. And I do believe the next leadership, the new leadership of Vanguard, whenever that is, will change its policy, because what they're doing is preventing their investors from accessing a new asset class. Their role is to facilitate the access of all financial asset classes. Then what he thinks is that it will become more of a stable currency, or it'll act more like gold itself, just much more stable than Bitcoin. And it will, in more and more economies, especially emerging markets, it will serve as a means of exchange, because, it won't be straight up. And if you bought a pizza, you paid in future dollars, $2 million for a piece of pizza. It's not going to be like that anymore. It's going to be, okay, I paid up a little bit, but the utility is so great that I was willing to do that. I think that that is moving us away from fiat currency, taking the human being out of the loop, importantly.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're running up on time, so I wanted to ask about your outlook for Bitcoin. If you have a price prediction for this cycle, if not, it's okay. And we've seen the correlation with global liquidity rising, the money printer and assets rising, and crypto is a part of that. And the halving plays a part as well, with the supply getting cut in half, and the presidential cycles every 4 years. What is your outlook? You think the Fed is going to cut rates, a money printer turned on, and Bitcoin's price prediction?
Well, it's interesting. I think one of the reasons for the regional bank crisis was the Fed raising rates at a faster rate than it ever has, up 24-fold in 17 months. Never seen anything close to that. Chairman Volcker increased interest rates twofold, not 24-fold.
Right.
So that was part of the regional bank crisis. And notice Bitcoin went up during that. So, and you'll see in Big Ideas how we get to those two cases.
I want to ask you about the Ethereum spot ETF, because there's talks about this. Some folks have thrown their hat in the ring. Do you think we see an Ethereum spot ETF this year? And is ARK in the race for this as well?
Yes, and yes.
Do you anticipate any hurdles, though? Because Chair Gensler, for example, refuses to acknowledge if Ethereum is a security or not before Congress. And there's still, the SEC trying to throw everything under the securities blanket.
Yes.
Do you anticipate any problems there?
So that would be the one. I think after this election, I don't think Chairman Gensler will remain at the SEC, whoever is elected. I think he has aspirations for some kind of political appointment. So he may go for that reason if Joe Biden is reelected, or he may go, or he will go altogether if a Republican is nominated. He will come around as well.
What are your thoughts on tokenization? We see BlackRock CEO Larry Fink talking about this. It seems this is a direction where traditional assets, stocks, bonds, whatever it may be, will be on the blockchain, 24/7 trading, global markets, no opening or closing bell. What is your outlook for tokenization?
You heard it from Larry Fink. If you've got a powerhouse, I think the largest asset manager in the world, might be wrong. Maybe there's someone in China, but saying this is the way the world's going. There are two things one, there must be a lot in it for BlackRock. And that could go either way. They're trying to avoid being disrupted, and they want to get on the right side of change, or they see a way to make a lot of money in it. And I think taking middlemen out again is going to compress the kinds of fees. So I think it's a little bit of both. That he wants to not be on the defensive, wants to go on the offensive or on the offense. It's wonderful entertainment, I think, especially for families.
Oh yeah, great movie. Favorite book?
Well, I usually say The Emperor of All Maladies, which is the biography of cancer, and there's another book out called The Gene by the same author. Fascinating, but I'll be very straightforward, even though we are in a secular setting here. It is the Bible. I'm amazed as I, read and reread it, how much richer it is. At first, when I read the first, it was like, oh my gosh, especially the Old Testament, this is so dry. But then as time goes on, and I know other people are experiencing it, it's just fascinating, especially if you really study the history too, and really listen to what the prophets are saying. You're like, what? How could they have possibly known? So this is like a puzzle, trying to figure out how is the world going to work as all of these technologies transform it. And how quickly is this going to happen? So it's really fun. It's just really fun. And of course, I love nature and walking and, being with friends and so forth. But I'm just so privileged and blessed to be able to say what I just said to you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I feel I'm the same way. That my wife may not like it because sometimes I talk too much about tech and all these things. But I'm the same way. I think about human psychology, human behavior, tech, and the change in life and civilization. So anyway, I will let you go because I took a lot of your time. Thank you so much.
This was fun. Thank you so much. And we'll do this again.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the big ideas on Monday. So
Yay. Yeah, the deadline's Monday. It will be out. The debut is sometime next week.
Oh,
Deadline for me is Monday.
Monday. Yeah.